My Lords, that felt more like a speech about a future autumn statement from a Labour government than the current one we have before us. But moving on, I too welcome the noble lady, the Minister, to her new role, and I look forward to hearing from her often here in this House. Yet I suspect even if you're a Treasury Minister, every autumn statement feels a bit like a missed opportunity. There's always things each one of us would like to have seen given a higher priority. Areas of spend we would have wanted greater resources allocated. And there may also be things that we think too much money is being spent on, though that may be a little less common. So I want to begin by being grateful for a number of items announced this time. I'm not sure I can sustain that congratulatory perspective all the way through my remarks. Your Lordships know me too well to expect that. But at least I'll start in a positive direction. My Lords, the uprating of working age benefits by 6.7% and the 9.8% increase in the national living wage will go some way to stem or slow the growth and deepening of poverty among those households who are striving and struggling with low-paid and insecure employment. My own belief is that the money made available to our lowest-income households should, however, not be subject to annual political whim. More than a triple lock for pensions, we need an independent mechanism for ensuring benefits will always cover the basic essentials of living. And to that extent, I would, as the noble Baroness Pinnock has already urged, encourage support for the Joseph Rowntree Foundation and Trussell Trust proposal for what they call an essentials guarantee. This would provide long-term certainty that benefits would be enough to live on for all families. It would mean the rate of universal credit was set by an independent body, which took into account the cost of essentials. But that is for the longer term. This announcement is a step in the right direction. And then the uprating of local housing allowance back to the 30th percentile is also something I welcome wholeheartedly. The freezing of this figure during a period when private sector rents have risen rapidly busts any myth that holding LHA down would help keep private rents affordable. Instead, what we've seen is rent levels become one of the principal drivers for homelessness, including now homelessness among people who are in steady employment, especially in major cities such as my own. In inner Manchester, these new rates will provide an additional £41 per week, over £2,000 per year. And this uprating will go some way to address the worst of the problem. But I do fail to see why, given the national insurance reductions are to take immediate effect, why this is being delayed until beyond those coming winter months, the months when homelessness wreaks its greatest toll on the health and life of our fellow citizens. And I would welcome a commitment, ideally from both front benches today, to not letting this level fall back below 30% in future years. My Lords, taken together, these changes are a welcome step in the right direction. However, the parish of St Barnabas in Oldham, serving one of the poorest communities in Greater Manchester, now finds itself operating a free laundry service for local people. People who cannot afford a washing machine or dryer, and for whom commercial laundrettes necessitate an expensive and difficult journey. And we all know what happens if you try to dry clothes in a cold house and just get the kind of damp that we've seen wreak such havoc on people's health. So I applaud that parish's initiative, but I deplore the need for it. And I don't see measures in this statement being sufficient to render it no longer necessary. There are, however, several areas where I feel opportunity has been missed. And as time is brief, and other noble lords have, and no doubt will refer to many of them, I'm going to focus on just one where I have a particular interest. Through my work as co-chair of the National Police Ethics Committee, which is set out in the members' Register of Interests, I am deeply concerned as to how much police time is wasted by officers sitting in hospital A&E departments waiting to hand over people with mental health issues to the medical professionals who can properly assess their needs and then offer treatment. One of my Right Reverend friends on these benches recently observed 4 officers spend 6 hours on such duties each, time that could and should have been spent preventing and detecting crime. So I applaud the Right Care, Right Person initiative, which seeks to divert people with health needs from inappropriate and wasteful periods of engagement with police. However, my Lords, timely handovers will not be achieved without a more significant increase in funds for mental health in our hospitals and communities. We need an increase beyond what is in this statement, at least commensurate with the dramatic growth in levels of need we've witnessed through the pandemic years and beyond. We have a mental health crisis. So I'd be grateful if the noble lady, the Minister, could give this House a commitment in principle regarding funding for mental health care, even if it's not possible to make money available today. And finally, my Lords, and here I do depart from the noble lady who spoke before me, I suspect many of us here feel that this autumn statement reflects a tiredness and a lack of ambition. It may speak of long-term decisions for a brighter future, but the reality feels somewhat different. I learnt early in my years as a parish priest how one of the saddest signs of human decline and the approach of life's end is a narrowing of horizons, both physically and metaphorically, until they reach barely beyond the bedroom walls. I hope that when we next hold an autumn statement debate, that whichever party is in power post the forthcoming general election, it will feel able to bring us a bold and long-term vision for Britain's future, not, as we have before us today, my Lords, a whispered croak from a governmental deathbed.
Gosh.
Wow.
Gosh.
I think he's must be a
My Lords, may I begin by welcoming my noble friend